everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Birthright here as we work our way to the final main section of the Rjurik expansion. That is the Wildlands, which really are wild and probably one of the least played or adventured in areas. Now, it's going to cover things like the Giant Downs, which did receive its own expansion. A lot of cool stuff we can do there. So it's almost like a separate, well, it is really a separate expansion, but here at least initially incorporated into the Rjurik expansion, but it has its own book, adventures, all kinds of cool stuff in there. So we'll get to that eventually. But we get an elf realm, another humanoid realm, a couple of human kingdoms, and like I said, it's really probably the least played just because it's just literal wilderness for the most part, and just kind of like for sure off the beaten path. So that being said, it does present a lot of neat things for us and a lot of things that we probably haven't really seen yet in some of these territories, and really fresh ground to adventure in. So let's take a look at the quick description here, and then we'll start separate videos on the different domains. These isolated realms, located in the far northeastern corner of Rjurik lands, are among the most desolate and lonely in all of Cyrilia. Here lie the far kingdoms of Hjolvar and Kvigmar, existing mostly in theory, since their provinces have little or no human population. The Wildlands are those realms east of the Sidheburn River and are composed almost entirely of craggy hills, mountains, and dense forests. Many humanoids found refuge here and took hold of the realm now known as Urgazai, and the wild region called the Giant Downs harbors numerous hostile creatures. So, here too lies the last bastion of elven power in the northern highlands, the kingdom of Uluabright. The fortress city of Kurin Azur is where the region's surviving dwarves hold out against their humanoid foes and the minions of the Gorgon. Travel in this region is hazardous and difficult even without the constant threats of humanoid raids, hostile weather, and impassable terrain. Most transportation is accomplished on forest trails or on rivers in rafts and canoes. Both these methods, however, become extremely limited in winter when snows choke the land and the rivers freeze or are thick with ice. Travel by sledge with sled dogs on the forest trails or frozen waterways is often the only means of travel in this frozen realm. For all these reasons, humans tend to huddle in shelters over the winter, thereby limiting expansion of the lonely kingdoms in this region. The Rjurik realms of Kvigmar and Hjolvar, the Urgazai goblins, well adapted to the terrain, move freely in and around their borders in all seasons. The elves, on the other hand, travel on magically concealed trails and roads, often enchanted to remain free of snow and ice, but nonetheless invisible to outsiders. Despite these difficulties, the Wildlands present a potent lure to the Rjurik, who feel that the region is especially blessed by Eric, as evidenced by its rugged beauty and pristine isolation. The lands also call to less nobly motivated outsiders, such as Breck traders and Anawirian adventurers, who have heard rumors of lost elven kingdoms, rich timber, and vast veins of silver and gold. The Wildlands remain untouched and unsettled, but someday, perhaps not far in the future, that may change. So, like we said, it really is an area unto itself, right? Here we would have like Dosone, for example, so the Anawirian territories, Tuarhevil, the Gorgon's Crown, which we of course know. So, and then the only avenues into that would be going through the Giant Downs. You could go further west, but then you risk dealing with the Bloodskull Barons and the White Witch. So if you're going by land, this is really the only way, unless you go from the coast with the Brecht areas, but then you got all these crazy mountains to deal with. The other way, really, of accessing the region would be going by boat from one direction or another to the far north here, but again, then you're getting into even more extreme conditions. And again, it's barely populated, barely civilized, so just getting there is an adventure in and of itself. So this is not for really starting characters. Definitely some with a little bit more experience under their belts to really even make it up here. But that, like I said, that just presents a fun opportunity for you to adventure here. A lot of neat things to accomplish with that, and again, a lot of untapped potential as well. Like we said, the Giant Downs really is its own expansion with its own set of issues and problems. Not really a true nation in any way, shape, or form, just more to make the map work here. So we have that. We got the elves, the humanoids, and again, the last two sort of Rjurik kingdoms, quote unquote, that we have up here. So really a neat area, and again, all kinds of different types of campaigns we could run out of this, which we'll see as we cover the territories individually here. But yeah, this will be our last tour here with the Rjurik territories, covering the Wildlands and even some further beyond the continent, actually, once we get to the end. So stay tuned, and we'll have more for you soon. If you want to see videos like this early, consider supporting us on Patreon. All the support does help, as we got some other projects in mind, and any funding from you guys will certainly go towards that, and again, help the channel out and continue to grow. And we have some exclusive Birthright and D&D content and other stuff on there as well. So head over there, give us a look. We got different tiers. All the help is appreciated. We'll see you in the next one.